Hello, Guardians. Welcome to my Grasp Avarice solo guide that will hopefully help you eventually get the solo flawless completion. This guide will be from the mindset of a Titan. I'm going to give general tips as well as Titan-specific tips. This video also assumes you already know how to run the dungeon itself. If you need help on the dungeon, I have another video up on that as well, link in the description. Reminder that if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks. So no specific build for this dungeon, as there are several that I think can work depending on what you're comfortable with. As always, when soloing content, I recommend using mods for high survivability, things like Protective Light, Elemental Resist mods, Well of Life, Precious Scars. The three best subclasses for this, in my opinion, are Bubble Titan, Stasis Titan, and Middle Tree Solar Titan. All three have high survivability with the right build. Bubble Titan being the easiest, as it takes really no effort to build out a class for Bubble Titan. Mid-Tree Solar Titan, run Melee Wellmaker, Well of Life, Elemental Charge, Protective Light for high survivability, pairing with Synthoceps for extra damage on your hammers and super. Stasis Titan, run Diamond Lance, Tectonic Harvest, along with the following whispers: Shards, Change, Conduction, Rending, and Fissures. Armor mods run Elemental Charge, Protective Light, High Energy Fire, and Font of Might if you have stasis weapons to run. This gameplay will showcase Stasis Titan, as I find it to be stronger than people think. For a full rundown on this build, I have another video on that. That link will be in the description. The platforming sections I won't be going through specifically. I just want to show a few ways that make them go faster. As I know from experience, when you keep attempting this, you'll be looking for faster ways to get to the ogre. So on these long jumps you'll see me do in a couple sections here in a minute, require the new sword from Dares of Eternity with the Eager Edge perk. To pull this off, like you'll see here, you're simply going to pull off the sword, swing, then immediately switch weapons before finishing the swing to launch yourself much further. This is just one of those speed tricks, nothing required. You can also run right past those thrall, they won't even attack you. Make sure and pair these jumps with Line Rampants as well. This jump does not require the Eager Edge perk, it just makes it a little bit easier, but you can totally make that with a regular sword and Line Rampants. The Shrieker, you can shoot through the fence if you shoot it with a bow, strangely enough. Once you've done that, you can jump back across, either using the long jump, or you can also just jump to the platform where you came in and then jump into this room. Same thing with the same jump across here. Nothing much to show in the wizard room, just to show you can jump over the barrel if you want to. It is possible. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but you can do it. So for the ogre room, you have two choices. You can spec for sword damage, you can spec for range damage. Sword is safe this season, especially with the passive guard being a seasonal mod, and Lament also exists, which will constantly heal you as you do damage. If you go this route, I suggest using Bubble Titan for extra damage, and Hellas 814 for your exotic. The range route, if you're watching in Season 15, will of course be linear fusions with particle deconstruction still being a thing. Bubble is great here, along with Stasis Titan. If you're on Solar Titan, make sure you run Font of Might and Melee Wellmaker, leave some Thrall alive to get extra damage on what I'm assuming you'll be using is Sleeper Simulant. This will work since Sleeper is a solar weapon. A great trick for rallying is to equip a chest piece with Double Reserves mod for whatever heavy you decide to use to give yourself some more extra ammo. I did that at the beginning of this run. I also highly recommend running Double Void Resist or Double Snipe Resist for this fight, as the ogre's laser attack really hurts. When grabbing the cannon, you can grab it from underneath the grate. I didn't do that, obviously, but you can do that. I like to shoot the first door from behind the wall and the second door while up on top. Don't be afraid to super in here. Every time you pick up 10 engrams, you do get your full super back. Be careful when you're in a roaming super like you see me here, because if you pick up 10 while still in the super, you do not get that super back. Make sure to juggle the Scorch Cannon the best you can. You don't want to lose it if you can avoid it, as it's annoying to have to kill the Scorch Cannon guy again. I like to run back through the crystal to kind of stave off my timer for a second as well. And by the time I run all the way around, after shooting my cannon from across the way, the door is usually open and ready for me to go and to take these guys out. If sword damage was your choice, once you've dunked the Ingrams, your course is just going to start hacking away once you hear the noise to start doing so. Range damage, I like to go inside the building that is open. Whichever one was the last building you were just in will be the one that's still open. Ideally, the one to the left where I am now. If not, you can still go to the one to the right, just whichever one's open, because he goes crazy aggro mode when he's damageable, and he won't bother you physically, at least while you're standing inside this room. Rinse and repeat these things to get his health bar all the way down, and you'll have the ogre down. And we'll get to move to the section that kills so many runs, the Sparrow section. So I recommend running Risk Runner, double arc resist, a sword with eager edge, and passive guard if you have it. Don't have to. A grenade launcher with blinding grenades can also be very beneficial, because we'll be getting off our Sparrow at key points. This is consistently doable without always on time. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Follow my path, and I'll explain at each point what I'm doing. I like to jump off right after hitting this one. And the important thing to remember is I'm killing the enemies before actually stepping into the circle, because that's what starts the timer for the next section. So as we move to the left, as soon as I hit this button, I'm going to jump off and sword across, over, and through. And you can Sparrow through, and you'll run out the entire timer to dismantle the bomb. You don't have to stop. If you're using always on time, I think you do have to stop because it's too fast. But any other Sparrow, you could zoom straight through. Here I park my Sparrow behind the rock, because a lot of times I ran into an issue of them shooting at my Sparrow even though I wasn't on it. So once they're dead and I'm shooting them again, not while standing in the circle, I'm able to get on my Sparrow and go straight through. I always take the path to the left because there are dregs on the right. Kill your boost. Do not boost while going through this thing. You will die and probably not be able to hit this button because it can be finicky. But every time I've not boosted through, I've hit that button very consistently. I don't have much to say about the Fallen Shield section other than to take your time. Use Risk Runner, Arc Resist, and all that to make it easier for you. The only tip I would have here specifically is to kill the Scorch Cannon guy first when you land onto an island, because they can be incredibly annoying and obnoxious. And they'll be the only thing not shooting arc at you besides the servitor. For the boss room, as far as loadouts go, you're really going to have the same options as the ogre room, sort of ranged, so pick whatever works best for you. The same loadout you used for the ogre should serve you well here. Something I didn't do here, but you can do, is start as a Thunder Crash Titan. Thunder Crash the door that the Shank and Vandal come out of to give yourself a big head start. I throw a couple Telesto bolts down, that works too. Throw a grenade, just throw something in there just to get it started, right? So ideally what I'd like to do once I've started was to stay to the left side of the room. I could easily deal with dregs to the right of me and start to work on killing the Shank and the Vandal. The first thing I would always do is kill the Scorch Cannon guy as soon as I could find him. So the Scorch Cannon guy would go down first, then Shank, then Vandal. Make sure not to pick up the Scorch Cannon until you're ready to start using it, so it doesn't despawn, and you have to kill another one of them because that's just annoying. So once all three of them are dead, you're ready to start using the Scorch Cannon. The super safe play is to shoot left, pick up engrams, super in the middle to stay alive, and deposit. Go to the back of the room, move to the right, do the same thing, cycle back to left, etc. The back of the room is pretty safe. Just be mindful of grenades while you're back there, especially if there are ads on that, either left or right, or on that right side, I should say. It's not the fastest way. I found it to be super safe. I was never really in danger when I did it this way, especially on Stasis Titan. If I just spammed Glacial Quake everywhere, I had resist and broke a lot of line of sight, obviously, with that as well. You're going to need 60 engrams to actually start damage, so keep that in mind, especially if you're using Bubble Titan, because you don't want to use your bubble too early. If you're dunking motes, or engrams, I should say. So just keep that in mind when you're getting closer to boss phase, that you have everything that you need up and ready to go before you actually start damage, because you're in full control of when damage actually starts. So don't start it till you're ready. If you want to go around and clear out some of the dregs, you can do that too, to give yourself a little more breathing room. It's totally up to you. There's a ton of cover all over the place in this room. The water underneath, you'll probably know, will kill you. So keep that in mind. As far as damage goes, if you chose sword, as soon as he is damageable, you of course are just going to run up and do your hack and slash, pop your bubble using lament, all those kind of delicious things. As far as if you're using range, like I will be in this footage, I liked to actually go to the back of the room, which we'll show here in just a minute. But I found it a lot easier to shoot from behind the pod, because the flinch is insane. With the drag start shooting you, even from the boss hitting you, is enough. But everything shooting at you, with shooting linears, the flinch is damn near unbearable for me. So I found it best to shoot from behind. There's plenty of cover. The only thing you have to worry about back there is grenades from the dregs that you can easily shoot away if you need to. But it's very manageable if you do it from behind this pod. Rinse and repeat as needed. It took me 4 phases using my stasis with Font of Might and particle deconstruction on him, and you'll have the clear. A cool new emblem and bragging rights. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hope you have a great day.